A year ago from today, I was working on my debut album along with an entire launch event. This was an insanely ambitious project because I was a one-man team. I was the one who was writing the music, recording the music, saving up for studio time, doing everything, event planning, like getting the DJ, getting the venue, getting the licenses, everything, right? I was a one-man team. And when I say I had an entire launch event, I'm talking about this was like a legit thing, okay? Like I was not just in my mama's basement with Little Caesars Pizza and my fucking JBL speaker, right? Type of party. Oh, everybody come listen to my album. No. Like this was a legit thing where I got a venue, DJ, security, everything. And I had about 200 plus people show up. I had this vision and this goal that I wanted to create, and I only had 9 months to do that. Now, 9 months might seem like a lot of time, but for anybody who knows anything about event planning, 9 months is not a lot of time. And it goes away like this. I'm talking about like Thanos snap type of gone, right? It just vanishes. And you know, this was a lot of work. And while I was going through the process and having this big goal and aspiration, I could have done either of these two things. Number one, stayed completely silent about the entire process and basically not telling anybody about it. Or two, just telling people about it. And you want to know what I ended up just doing? I ended up just telling people about it. I see this all the time on social media when people are always talking about moving in silence, disappearing, privacy. And I personally think it is the stupidest thing ever because everybody just blindly follows that advice. And I don't think they actually know what they're talking about. So I watched a couple YouTube videos about this concept, moving in silence, just so I can have a better understanding of what people are talking about. One video being from May Alice Suzuki and another one being those very annoying inspirational videos. Anyways, another thing I also did was I just basically went on Google AI and just also looked up moving in silence definition, right? Like what do people mean when they talk about this? And Google AI basically tells us moving in silence is to work towards a goal or pursue a plan without openly discussing it with others, essentially keeping your intentions and progress, essentially keeping your intentions and progress private until you achieve a desired outcome. It emphasizes focusing on your own path without seeking external validation or being distracted by outside opinions. Now, this sounds practical and amazing on paper, but I personally have my own opinions on this, hence why I'm even making this video. Now, I'm a big believer that privacy matters, right? Privacy in family, privacy in finances, privacy in relationship, privacy matters. Privacy is power, right? Like you just cannot be an open book with every single person. Privacy is power and energy, and you gotta conserve that energy. But for this specific video, we're going to be talking about moving in silence in terms of our goals. Some points from May's videos I do agree with, and I kind of want to start off with. First is, again, privacy matters, right? There is something special about just keeping things to yourself. The main point I want to say is do not share things if you're just looking for people's validation. If you do that, like if you are not somebody who has a strong backbone, you are easily going to be persuaded by other people's opinions. Another thing is that you looking for other people's validation, again, requires energy, and that's just energy that we got to put within ourselves and not other people. You know what I'm saying? Oversharing also leads to over-explaining. When you start oversharing with people, it leads to the habit of you just over-explaining everything, right? Always trying to justify yourself, always trying to justify what you say and do. And you know, like you know the type of people who they just talk too much. And it's like, dog, like I didn't really need an explanation for that. Like, bro, like just do your thing, right? Like I don't like stop always trying to justify yourself, right? Like first of all, it just makes you look like a little bitch. It just comes off as weak. I know in the 48 laws of power, I forgot what law it was and what exactly spoke about, but I just knew it was something about the more you speak, the weaker you look. Again, like there is a power in not speaking so much, right? Like again, like bro, you don't got to justify yourself every single time you do something. So a few other points that I quickly want to mention too, and you guys can go and watch all these millions of videos on it. Keeping things private will, you know, it'll just help you set boundaries within yourself. It'll also help cut out the distractions in life. So anyways, now let's talk about why you shouldn't move in silence and why and when you should talk about your dreams, goals, and aspirations. Guys, do not blindly just move in silence. Y'all gotta be strategic about this. Most people literally go off the face of the earth, off the radar, off the map, completely just staying to themselves. Again, like there is some benefits to it, which we tapped on, but I feel like the disadvantages are just as big. When you're trying to build a business, work your way up in a career, be successful in school or anything of that sort, when you move in silence and don't tell anyone about anything, how are you ever going to leverage your network and your resources? Guys, talk about your dreams, okay? Just talk about them. Tell people, right? You never know who can actually help you. People always talk about when you share things, you never know who will spread negative energy and bad voodoo and yada yada yada. For some reason, I just have a hard time getting this through my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sure if it's just a me thing. It probably is just a me thing. But for some reason, it's like, if I have a goal, ain't nobody stopping me from getting to that goal. Okay, talk about some bad voodoo, negative energy, blah, blah, blah. Nigga, If I have a goal, you are not stopping my goal. Okay, the only person who can stop my goal is myself. That's it. So for some reason, I just have a hard time getting this through my head. It probably is just the me thing, to be honest. But again, like when you're sharing things with people, you still gotta be very strategic about it. Do not be that person that just blabs their mouth all the time to their family members and on social media and things like that. Understand and know who to share things with and when to share information with. One thing I really like from May's video, and I do agree with, is May says only reveal things that will benefit your position or brand and approach it in a way that protects you rather than lets your guard down. So when I had my goal of making my album launch party come to life, I was not going on social media in the early days talking about, hey guys, I do music now, everybody blah, blah, blah. Hey guys, like I'm an artist, I do rapping. I was not going on social media blabbing my mouth all about that, right? With my event, I only told people who I'd bump into in my day-to-day life. There is no way on earth that I could have pulled off that entire goal, that entire event, if I did not tell people about my goals. I told people who I knew I could leverage from. I told people who I knew had resources. I told people who I knew had a network who can guide me from one place to another. Before the big announcement, the only time I went on social media was when I believe I posted a story talking about, hey guys, working on this album project, just looking for a male vocalist. Hit me up if you know anybody. That's the only time where I went on social media and said anything about my launch party. Besides that, guys, like I basically only told the people in my day-to-day life who just asked about it. If I did not tell people about my album, it would have probably not happened, right? Like, okay, that's not completely true. It would have happened, but it would have costed me a lot more money, a lot more time, a lot more energy. Just doing things alone requires a lot more things, rather than if you just leverage from people who you know you can connect with and you can network with to get you from one place to the other, to get you closer to your goals. Now, at the end of the day, you're gonna be responsible for creating your own goals, right? That's just like obvious. At the end of the day, you are responsible from going from point A to point B, but you can still get help from people around you. I leveraged my network and my resources. And again, guys, I wasn't going on social media. I wasn't blabbing my mouth about this project to everybody, right? When I was sharing my project with people, I still did it in a way that protected my privacy. And the way I did that was I used a technique called the poking technique. So what the poking technique is basically just you giving people little bits of information. And if they ask for more, you give them a little bit more. You're just poking at it. Example, when I was telling people about my album, they'll be like, hey Abdi, how you doing, bro? Like, what you been up to? And I'd be like, oh, you know, just working on a project. And if they say, oh, that's cool, boom, conversation's over. They don't need to know anymore. But if they're like, oh, a project, that's what's up. Like, what type of project are you working on? Then I'll give them a little bit more. I'll be like, oh, you know, I'm just working on like an album, right? And like a launch event for it. And if they're like, oh, for real? Like, I didn't even know you made music. Like, what type of genre is it? When is it gonna release? Then I'll give them a little bit more. I give people little bits of information only if they ask. If they don't ask, I don't really say much. But if they do ask, if they're poking at it, then I poke back. And then they poke at it, they poke, right? The poking technique, right? Basically, still telling people, just giving them information like, oh yeah, I'm just working on this thing. Like, you never know who can actually help you, but not telling them so much to where you're making it this super big thing where like, yeah, like it's gonna be the biggest thing ever. It's gonna be so cool. Like, I'm working on this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it's like, bro, just shut up. Like, you don't gotta say all that, right? Anyways, I will tell people about my album goal if they continue asking about it. And if you're still somebody who is scared about spreading information about yourself because you think that people are gonna spread rumors and gossip and negative energy and all this stuff, then go fucking watch a video on how to protect your energy, or just pray to Jesus or something, right? Like, go do something, because this video isn't one of those videos, right? Like, this video is all about network and leveraging your resources. That's what the main point of this video is. And so again, that's what I mean when I say you guys have to be strategic about it. So I kept doing this, right? Like, I kept using this technique until August, right? August was when I made the big announcement about my launch event. And before that, again, I only really told people in my day-to-day life that I just bumped into. So another thing I want to say is, I'm not gonna lie, like in life, when you're pursuing something big, I feel like we all need some type of outlet. And what I mean by this is an outlet as in like, we just need somebody to rant to about when you're feeling down, when you need motivation, when you need advice, you know, just somebody who you can go to actually talk about these goals with, right? Because it could get very hard just doing it all on your own and keeping this big goal and inspiration and motive. It's very hard to just keep it all on your own, right? So we all need some type of outlet, whether it's this person or yourself or a close friend, right? If you need someone to go to yap about things, it's important to vent, but do it to people who are close to you and that you have a healthy relationship with. And again, this isn't a video about healthy relationships, right? Like, I hope you know the signs of a good and a bad relationship, who a fake and real friend is. And if you don't, then let me know in the comments or something, and I'll just make a future video on it. But again, like, we all need an outlet. When I was making my album launch party, it was a emotional roller coaster. I'm talking about, like, there were so many things that were going wrong. There were so many things that I needed advice on. There's so many, like, there was just so many, like, it was my first ever event that I was planning, and there was just so much things, right? I had my people who I can go to to just rant about things to, get some advice from, maybe some motivation, a little push, right? Like I had those people in my corner who I can go to if I just needed to vent about this goal. Because again, it's very hard doing it by yourself. It really is, man. And we all just need somebody to lean on. Last thing I want to say is you gotta put in that damn work. Do not be talking all big and you're not actually doing anything about it. I'm a super big supporter of showing the journey while you're literally going through the journey. I feel like a lot of people, when they show the journey, it's after they're done with the journey. Like you guys show us the journey after you're done with the journey. I'm a big supporter of showing the journey while I'm literally going through the journey right now. You know what I'm saying? Like literally showing you guys as we go. If you're ever gonna do that, just back your words up with action, man, and prove to us why you can talk big. Anyways, this is just my whole opinion about, you know, moving in silence type of thing, right? Like there's definitely advantages and disadvantages that come with that. And I just feel like a lot of people on social media, they blindly just accept it and just run off with it when they're not really looking at the bigger picture. But anyways, again, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think, if you guys agree or disagree. Anyways, I'm off to shower my cat now. RNH 100, stay 100 with yourself.